Seadoo in tow. Hello everybody, welcome to another Yukon Bob video. Nice to have you back with us. We are about 7 days since the last Seadoo trip, but the temperature conditions, let me turn that down a little bit. Temperature conditions much different today, where it was 25 degrees, full-on summer last week when I was out. It has cooled back off again, probably highs of about 10-11 degrees today. But that's okay because the winds are predicted to be pretty calm today, and that's what I like, is calm winds. So the destination for today, probably my shortest access to water from where I live, heading down to Lake Ontario today for a trip of the Toronto Inner Harbor, and I'm going to be launching from a location called Bluffs Park, which is only about 35 minutes from where I live. So a little bit of traffic to get down there, but we will be down shortly, and I'll show you what the launch looks like, and I'll also give you an update on that Skydio drone crash that happened last week. A little bit of information from on that. So hang on with us. We'll be down at Bluffs Park in just about a half an hour. Okay, we are here at Bluffs Park, just about a half an hour ride from where I live. Let's have a quick look at the launch here. This is actually a pretty good launch. There's a double launch. There's one over there, and then there's another one right here. So you can almost launch two boats at once in here, and places to tie up and all of that. So no problem with the launch here. And in terms of parking here, by the way, guys, this is free Monday to Friday. At least it was last year and the year before. I'm not going to bother checking because I'm assuming it's the same as then. So it's free Monday to Friday. Then you do have to pay on the weekends, and there's a pay parking thing over that way. But for today, this being during the middle of the week, it is free. So I'm going to get this thing unhooked and backed into the water. Okay, it started right up. That's a good thing. I'll just pull out a couple of feet here and get everything set up and ready before I head out. It's a nice little area in here. It's a big wide area to come into. There's two docks, as I said, one just over there, and then the one right behind me here. So it's a great little area, and you know, this is the middle of the week and there's really nobody here, so it's pretty quiet. And then Lake Ontario, just out through that little exit right there. So I already know it's going to be a little bit cool out here today, at least until it warms up a little bit later on this afternoon. So I put on the jacket, another layer underneath, and hopefully this will be warm enough. But if it's not, I even brought my socks. I don't have socks on right now, but if it does get cold out there, because my feet are already wet from launching the Seadoo, so we'll see what that's like. I brought the socks along. I might put those on if I have to. Don't think I'm going to, but we'll see. Let's get the Navionics fired up. Get that up in the right position. All right, that's firing up. Yeah, it's a beautiful morning out here. Really nice. The only thing, as I said, a little bit cooler, but that's okay. I can dress for that. Some mallards. Just like an ocean out here on Lake Ontario, when you head out, it's a big body of water. The United States just over on the south side, New York State, and of course Ontario, Canada on this side. I think the dividing line is somewhere down the middle of the lake roughly. It's a nice launch. And I like the color of the water. Nice and green. Well, I'm just a couple of minutes into the trip and not off to the best of starts once again already. There always seems to be something going wrong. I was just about to put up a drone in the air. Now, not the Skydio drone, because you saw me lose that one last week, but I have a DJI Mavic Air 2 with me, and I was going to put that up in the air, but I had it all ready to go, and it said that the SD card, the micro SD card, was full. Now I know that card isn't full because I've erased it. So there's a problem with the micro SD card. So then I swapped it out for another card, and I put the other card in it. But I have this little contraption that I showed you last year. Where the heck is that thing? Right here. This little thing here that I strap onto the drone so I can kind of hand catch it. It hangs down below the drone, helps me hand catch it when I'm retrieving it over water. It just makes it a lot easier. But as I was putting it on, the thing just snapped and broke. It is a bit of a tight fit, and I was trying to be careful, but you do have to stretch it open a bit to get it on, but it just snapped and broke. So now I don't have that. So if I'm going to retrieve the drone out over water, I'm going to have to hand catch it. which is not something I always like to do. But if I'm going to put it in the air, that's what I'm going to have to do. So we're going to try this again, see if we can't get the drone up in the air, just get a few shots. I can only fly it right around here. Once I get down towards the inner harbor of Toronto, I won't be able to do any drone flying down there because the Toronto Harbor Airport is right there, and that's a restricted no-fly area. There's lots of low-flying aircraft coming in there. So let me see if I can get this thing working. So this is what they call the Scarborough Bluffs. These clay cliffs right along the water here. They drop straight down into the water. And as I think I've said before in previous videos, often there's rescue situations. People get too close to the edge and get hung up over the edge or slip, and they have to come and be rescued. Haven't heard about that in a while though. But in past years, yeah, that's what happens. Right around the corner from Bluffers Park. This is a beach area right over there. A lot of people hang out there in the warmer weather and then hang out in this area. So as I'm sitting here, problem number 3 has just developed. Boy, I don't know what's going on today. Maybe I should just turn around and go home. The wireless Rode Go-To microphone system, I just noticed, is not transmitting. This is the receiver part. The transmitter part is sitting down there, but I just noticed that it won't power up. And when I first got here, I looked, the battery was good, but all of a sudden now it's not powering up. I can't get it to power up. There's no indicator that it will power up. I've tried turning it off and on, tried turning the receiver, transmitter off and on. It's just dead. So I'm gonna have to use the microphone on the camera now. The audio isn't gonna be as good as it normally would be, but one more problem to the list today, and it's all non-Seadoo related. It's all the gear for filming these YouTube videos that doesn't seem to be cooperating with me. And this is the latest problem. I just have to work with the audio on the camera. So as I was saying, the Scarborough Bluffs. Let's move on. I know it kind of looks like a penitentiary or something up there in the hill, but I think it's actually a massive water treatment plant for the city of Toronto right here along the shore of Lake Ontario. I think that's what it is. Could be wrong. I think I was told that once. If it is, they're doing a good job because the water here looks pretty clean and clear right off the edge of it. It is a little cold out here today. I hope you guys appreciate this video today because it is not warm. I've actually got gloves on today and I could use some earmuffs. Temperature is about 10 degrees, but when you get going over the water at 10 degrees at 60 kilometers an hour, there's a wind chill factor. It's cool. Way down there in the distance, you probably can't make it out, the skyline of the city of Toronto. We'll get better shots of that as we get closer. Wow. It is too cold to be out here. It is cold. I have got to put my socks on in these open-toed sandals because my toes are actually getting cold. It is colder than the fall rides I normally go on. Just kind of miscalculated this a little bit. I didn't think it would be this bad, but yeah, it's nippy out here. So I think I'm going to stop, open up the thing and put the socks on now. Why wait? Let's get them on now so the toes don't freeze anymore. Oh. Where are they? Okay, may not be the most stylish thing ever, but they're going to be warmer. Temperature of the water, if I didn't say this earlier, is only about 8 degrees, so it would be absolutely deadly to fall into the water at this time of the year. Even the inland lakes, the Muskoka lakes, are not that warm right now, so be very careful out there in the beginning part of the year for sea-dooing, that you don't wind up in the water, because hypothermia can take effect pretty quickly. But even Yukon Bob from the Yukon needs to put his socks on today because it's just that cool out here. Toronto Harbor, back where am I? Over that way. You can just make out the CN Tower sticking up over there. I'm about to come into the harbor and pull in there. We'll cruise along the inner part of the harbor and I'll show you what it looks like inside there. Look at these ones here right on the water. What a view they'd have. This is kind of a wraparound thing. And then this one here, just right on the edge of the water. Nobody's gonna build in front of you if you've got a condo in there. So, an update on the Skydio drone situation. Here's the latest. I've been in touch with Skydio, and you know, it looks like there's going to be a replacement, but what we're arguing about is whether or not I should have to pay the $500 to get a replacement drone because I don't have a drone to return to them. If you've got a drone to return to them, it's $125, I think. But if you don't have a drone, then they want $500. But my argument is that the drone was flying itself. I had nothing to do with the crash of that drone. So we're going to see what happens with that. And by the way, Mark Forrest, who is also a YouTube contributor and does a lot of Seadoo stuff around Ontario, he also bought one of those Skydio drones over the course of the winter, and he said in the comments to me that he crashed his drone as well, but he was lucky. He crashed it in about 5 feet of water and he was able to get it back, so he would have paid the, I think, $125 US. I might have to pay the $500, but we're in negotiations over that right now. I've sent them in the uploaded clip of what happened and a description of what happened, but we're going to see. We'll see what they say. So that's the update on that. I really don't know yet what the outcome of that is going to be. The drone will get replaced, but how much is that going to cost me? That's what we're going to find out. And then, of course, I'm going to be pretty leery to fly that Skydio drone over water again because I'm not sure it handles the situation over water all that well. We'll have to see about that. So that's the update on the Skydio. In the meantime, I'll be using the DJI Mavic drones for the next little while. There's the Westin Hotel and a bit of a look at the cityscape along the shoreline in Toronto, down along the Lakeshore Expressway. And that right ahead of me is where the Toronto Island ferries launch out of. The ferry terminal is right in there. And the ferries here go back and forth all day long. So they're in operation. During COVID, a lot of that was shut down, but it all seems to be back now. I've always liked this little feature just up here. It's kind of cool. Just a neat little thing right on the side of the water. I don't know what the heck the ball's supposed to represent, but the waterfall's kind of cool, just pouring right out of there. It reminds me of the waterfall of my hot tub. Look at that. Look, the birds see. Oh, geez, the birds like it. It's a bird bath. That's what it is. Pigeons. Looks like a Dash 8 maybe, coming in on final approach to Billy Bishop Airport. sandy. Oh, look at this. This is from Halifax. This is one of the ferries that used to run back and forth between Halifax and Dartmouth. When I lived in Halifax, I was on one of these ferries. I don't know what it's doing over here in the Toronto Harbor, but it's even still got the markings on it, Dartmouth 3 and Halifax. This is one of the boats that ran back and forth there between Dartmouth and Halifax from the Halifax waterfront. Now it's sitting here in Toronto. Huh. Looks like it's quite a bit older. They're going to refit it and do something with it here, I guess. So there's all kinds of markers out here. You're only allowed to get so close to the end of the runway. You just have to, because the planes come right in over the water here and land right on the runway. So you got to be outside of those white markers. There's a bunch of them out here. All right, so we've had a look at the Toronto skyline a little bit from the water, Lake Ontario. Let's take a little cruise over to Toronto Island now and just take a little putz through there before we head back from where we launched from. Toronto Island, not far, just straight across over that way. These, by the way, are those white markers I was telling you about, where you're not allowed to go beyond those markers or inside those markers as you're into the runway approach up there. So you got to stay on the white outside of all those white buoys. All kinds and sizes of boats over here in Toronto Island. A lot of sailboats over here because they head out onto the big waters of Lake Ontario, just on the other side of the outer island of Toronto Island, and you've got all of Lake Ontario to play with out there. I think the last time I was down here, I pulled in right up to that picnic table there, just on that sort of mud beach a bit, and had a little lunch right there. Can't do that today. I'm going to have my little snack off the Seadoo because I've got my socks on now, and I don't want to take them off because if I pull in there, I'm going to get my feet wet a little bit for sure. And I've got socks on. I don't want to do that. I'm going to need those socks on the ride back. So I think I'll just stay on the Seadoo today, have a little bite right off the back of the Seadoo. Lots of room on the Seadoo. I don't know why they're watering back there. It's been raining for a couple of days. I suspect they're automatic sprinkler systems. And it is quiet over here right now in Toronto Island. Nobody around right now. That will change. That's going to pick up as summer comes along and warms up a little more, probably even by this weekend. I think this little area right up here by this weeping willow tree is going to be a good place to pull out some of the veggies I brought and have a quick little bite. Nothing special, just a cucumber and some apple. So, what do you think about the price of gas this summer and what that's going to mean to Seadoo trips? I've been doing some calculations, just, you know, rough calculations. These things run on premium fuel, so that at the pump in Toronto is probably about $2.30, $2.35 a liter now. 70 liters in a tank. You can do the math on that. You know, you're into $160 some for a fill up. And then the problem's going to be, often the types of trips that I do and with the Seadoo Tours riding group, we'll go through a tank and a half, maybe 2 tanks, depending on how far we're going, of fuel in a day. And if you've got to buy fuel on the water, premium fuel, it's going to be costing somewhere around $2.60, $2.70. So you could easily burn through $350 a day in fuel, not to count not to mention what you're going to burn in your vehicle to get to where the heck you're going. So it is going to be something to be contended with this summer. It's going to be expensive. Is it going to change your riding habits? Is it going to change the way you ride? I know some of the, the smaller Seadoos, not these supercharged engines that require the premium fuel and burn a lot of fuel, won't be so bad. But for a lot of us, it's going to be very expensive on the water this summer. It could be easily $300, $350 days on the water if you're going to have to fuel up and buy fuel on the water. So what do you think? It's going to change the riding habits of yourself, or do you think of others? Leave a comment below. I'd like to hear what you think about it. Regardless, it's going to be expensive. Well guys, that's about going to do it for this Yukon Bob video. Thanks very much for coming along with me today. A little colder than I thought it was going to be out here. It said 10 degrees, but when you get going on the water at speed, 10 degrees is a lot colder than that with the wind chill. But we made it, we survived, our socks and mitts on and all of that. Thanks very much, by the way, for all the views on that first video that I turned out last week. That was phenomenal. 2,700 views in about 3 days. Thanks very much for clicking in and checking it out. And if you haven't already done so, think about subscribing to the channel. There'll be lots more of these videos coming over the course of the summer. Today's video, the Toronto Inner Harbor, a little colder than I thought. Probably won't do that at 10 degrees again, but anyway, I think it turned out okay. Hope it did. Hope you liked it. And we will see you guys on the next Yukon Bob video. Till then, take care and stay safe out there.